Hello and welcome to the Leckiju Lounge. This is your host Lex, and as Latrice Royale once said, "Get those nuts away from my face." Attention, attention, you guys. I think we are entering a really good era of Lex. I don't know. I don't know. Did I decide this yesterday? Yes. Kind of last week, but the truth be told, if it makes me feel better for right now today, of course. I'm gonna check yes every time. I just am feeling like I'm in a good era for me. Last week was a wild ride, but it was really fun. Things kept happening, and I'm not gonna say that everything's changed now and everything's different, because it's really not. My week this week is super normal and chill, but things happened last week for future where I'm just perhaps things are looking up. Now, y'all know that I love a movie review, and I've been watching a lot of movies lately, I've talked about in the last podcast episode. And so I bring my recommendations to you. I don't have as many this week, but I wanted to talk about the first movie that I watched that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. It's called We Are Your Friends, and like I said, I'm on a Zac Efron kick a little bit right now, so this is one of his older movies. I want to say, when did this come out? It might have been 2016, 2015. I think 2015. So he looked great in it. Of course, 2015 Zac Efron. Hello. And the idea of the movie is he's a DJ and he meets this mentor. But it's also, it wasn't bad, but it's also one of those movies that's just there's a lot of party to it. Not quite like Spring Breakers, because I did watch that kind of recently, and that one's literally just a party movie, but I'm none of that looks appetizing to me. That's my hell. So, and I was talking with my brother about that, because this movie had a lot of because it's DJ, there's parties, and I was and who's this fun for? People dancing, drinking, throwing up, who's this fun for? Another thing that was funny to me was the fact that it was a DJ movie, so they wanted to have a lot of beats and a lot of music throughout the movie, which makes sense, and most of the music was bad. Sorry, a lot of the music was bad, in my opinion, and I think what they were doing was having so much music, it was a lot of just no, music without copyright, non-copyrighted music, so it was just very bleh. But that's going to be film number 1. I don't really recommend it unless you're a big Zac Efron fan. I also love Wes Bentley, and he was the mentor in it, so that was cool. And now I watched a movie last night called Vivarium. And it was Jesse Eisenberg and what's her name? Imogen Poots? Yes. Now, that was a interesting movie, really weird, don't really recommend it, not terrible, but again, it's just never something that I'd watch again. Now, the best movie recommendation that I have to bring to you was, nothing crazy, not the most amazing film I've ever seen, but it was called Bride Hard, and I really clicked it because it said starring Rebel Wilson and Anna Camp, and I love both of them. And also, their friendship is beautiful in real life. I was this is gonna be good. I do recommend this film. I don't know if I should spoil it, but I mean, it says it in the summary as, basically, Anna Camp is getting married, and her best friend from childhood is Rebel Wilson, who is a secret agent they didn't know. When there's, an attack on the wedding, she saves the day. Okay, maybe not, she doesn't save the day, but that can be in your imagination. Something I've also been watching a lot recently is pro wrestling, and this is something I've never unpacked on here, I don't think, on any of my socials. It's just that I used to watch Ring of Honor wrestling with my brother. It used to come on really late at night, and we used to watch cable TV growing up. Or I feel like we had just a few channels, and really late at night, Ring of Honor Pro Wrestling would come on, and we used to think it was so funny. We used to really find it entertaining, and recently I was like, I would love to see some wrestling. So we actually browsed a few different wrestling channels, like on the Roku channel, Roku TV thing, and I was like, pro wrestling is a performance art, and it is very impressive, the things that these people are doing. Do I understand the point? Not really, but I obviously understand the appeal. I was saying this last night, though, because we had some on, and it's very mindless TV for me. I told Ephraim, I said, it would make sense more if these people were super, like, in amazing shape, fit people, hot people, wrestling. That would make sense to me, because, like, the positions they're getting put in, the flipping around, the performance part of it makes me think, like, that would draw a crowd. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, because a lot of, like, I think a lot of the wrestling fandom is straight. It's maybe a part of straight culture and, like, redneck culture, but maybe they would feel differently about it if the people were super, like, good looking. Not to hate on wrestlers' looks either, but, like, a lot of times it's part of the bit to, like, look scary and look beat down and look, I don't know, but why are they out of shape? And they're able to do such amazing things and they're out of shape. It's really impressive. Before I continue on, that was my review segment. We're done with that. But before I move on, I want to encourage you to follow me here. Give me a subscribe to the channel here, because I'm posting every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. But if you don't want to remember that, you can turn on the post notifications right now, and you'll never miss an upload. So please consider subscribing here. And like this video, I would greatly appreciate that. Comment your favorite wrestler. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to. I know more wrestlers than you would expect, but I won't get into that for the sake of time. So I do have news from last week, and I'm not going to share too many details with it, but I'll just say that it's something I'm super excited about, and I kind of said that last week, but last week I just said I had the offer, and this week I actually have a contract for something. So it's a little bit more real, with just something big in modeling, and I'm gonna talk about more when it comes closer to time and when it's even more real, but there's just something on the sidelines that's really cooking right now. I wanted to talk about, this is like my hot topic for the week, and it was as of yesterday, and what it is romanticizing. The word romanticizing. Honestly, my word for 2026, I know it's kind of late in the game, it's February, but my word for 2026 should be romanticize. Because, well, one, it's such a fun word, such a good word, and such a great meaning. I think it's very important not just in this time, in literally any time of your life, to romanticize and just live it up, for lack of better words. Because it's funny, what made me actually decide to think like this yesterday was I went on TikTok. If you are familiar with the Creator Search Insights program, I went into Creator Search Insights and I was like, what's suggested for me and what is content gap? Just like doing my research as a creator, right? And I go in, and one of the topics that was suggested for me, content gap, was romanticizing everyday life, I think it said, or normal life. And I saved that. And just reading that, I had just woken up. I was still in my bed. And reading that, I was thinking, like, this just changed how I'm going to do all of today. Like, and it really did. Right then and there, I was like, that actually really aligns with me. Do I know if the video is going to perform well? No. You never do. That's kind of part of the gamble. But it did make me think, like, that's like such a good That's like one of my main messages in life. Not me glitching out. It's one of my main messages in life, and I kind of paired it with YOLO because it's hard to say YOLO without sounding just kind of like party douchey guy, but like YOLO is such a big part of my message, I feel like, as a whole. And yeah, I push different niches a lot, but like, what is my goal in life? I have so many career goals, but like, I'm also someone who's really just like here to have fun. Like there's so many things that are big goals for me and that I will work really hard towards, but like, I'm also just one of those people who's like, let's have fun, let's have a good time. And that's part of romanticizing, that's part of YOLO. So it is funny that it came from that TikTok thing, but it did make me think, like, later that day, yesterday, I was going out with my friend and my brother to the ones who have been on the podcast, go watch their episodes. And we were going out to a new cafe that I hadn't been to, and it was like just a super chill day. We planned it just to hang out. And I didn't have anything else to do that day. Like, I was going to do a workout, I was going to live stream, and then I was going to do that. And I was like, why not like wear something kind of fun and just be like bold and make a choice and all that. So I did. And I kind of was like planning my outfit in my head, and I was like, I can film that, and that can be part of romanticizing, because like for me at least, a big part of romanticizing would be like how you treat yourself and how you present yourself to the world. You know what I mean? And I hope that it influences people to do the same, just because like in that same sense, YOLO, why would you be wearing something boring or like that you don't even like if you only live once? It sounds silly to be like, it's just clothes, but like, I'm always saying this, and maybe it sounds morbid. I don't mean it to, but maybe it does. But I always say, like, what if this is your last day on Earth? Are you satisfied? If this is your last day on Earth, are you happy with the outfit you were wearing? Low key, I should ask myself right now, because this is ugly. And it is. I mean, I'm comfortable right now, but it's like, I'm not out right now, and I don't feel like I have to wear something cute as long as I'm like, oh, I made that bold choice today. Actually, I did make a bold choice today because I was wearing this unitard at dance. I went to a dance class today with my brother. It was very hard, actually. Ballet class. The teacher, I know the teacher very well. He was just like, he was going kind of crazy today. So did that, but I was like, I decided to wear this unitard it takes a bit of confidence, I'll say that. But I'm like, I'm glad I took the choice because it looked good. A bunch of people loved it and like complimented. So, it's worth it. And that's always the kicker. Anytime you do something that's kind of like bold or out of your comfort zone, it's almost a guarantee you'll get a compliment on it out in public. Like, just because it's recognized, like, if I were to be like, I'm going to just go crazy and do like a really cool makeup, like a huge glittery eye or something like that. Yes, I'm going to go out in public and there's going to be people who give me weird stares. Of course they are, especially in my area. But then you're going to at least have one person who sees it and it's just like, wow, they really took a bold choice and like it caught my attention and I like that. And they will compliment you, at least one. And that's like always the case for me, at least. And it's like, it's reassuring. It's very reassuring because then I'm like, well, this is why I did this. Not just for other people's validation, but it's like, it is validating in that way, especially when like, we can't all be confident 100% of the time. So we all have insecurities. We're all human. And if I'm being like a little insecure about something, or I'm just not like fully confident in it, having people show their recognition and be like, that's actually really cool, it does all the work. Which like, honestly, like on my outfit, for example, like I got a compliment at a restaurant for the boots I was wearing, and I actually got a lot of compliments on those shoes today. I wore them again. But and I have so much to say on that subject. I really do. One of my other notes about it. I was going to ask, like, this is just something for you to think about. Say this is therapy, this is self-help. And it can be for you if you want. But it's, why don't you live to the fullest? Like, if I were to ask you what, and this is not to be, not, this is not in the sense of like, you're not going for that job. Well, actually, it could be. It could be. Whether it's like a job or it's like, why don't you dress the way that you want? Why don't you act the way that you want to? And if I asked you, like, why don't you live to the fullest, or why don't you live to the truest version of yourself? What would be your answers? Like, would that be friends, or like, I guess fake friends, people who are surrounding you? Would that be the area that you're in? Would it be because of your job you have? Would it be because of like image? Like, you know, for everyone it's different. And for most people, it's a combination of so many things. Like, I can answer for myself. I don't really feel that from friends personally, just because I feel like I've surrounded myself with a pretty good group of friends and people who are kind of in between. Like, I don't really care. People who I know but I wouldn't consider my friends. I don't really care. They're not too bad, and they're also not that judgmental most of the time. And area, I can kind of see. For me, I will say, like, if I was in a different area, the things that I would wear, the way that I present myself, wouldn't be as outlandish, if that makes sense. But that's not a huge influence. Like, I've done it. But job, for me, is not a job, but I know that would be one for some people. I mean, whether you're like, you work around kids and that kind of has to do with image, obviously you can't. And if you have a uniform or you have guidelines, like, I'm not saying go against your job's dress code, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but sometimes because of social media, outside of that, it's still reflecting of that. But then I also put branding on here because I think that maybe that speaks more to me because of doing social media and modeling and stuff like that. A lot of it is branding, but it's like, my thought is, I'm not trying to curate every single post and every single photo and outfit that I am posting to be like, oh, cast me right off of this post. I need to be casted. And some people really do, but I'm like, that's not me. I'm sorry, that's not me. And I do think that there's like still clients out there who are like, who will like how I am. So I'm not fearful in that way. But, you know, it is branding for a lot of models. And some people think, like, for example, if someone did mostly high fashion and mostly like editorial type stuff, they have a very mysterious online presence, and like the photos of them, there's even a certain quality to it, you know what I mean? And mine are so not that, and I feel like I have more of that look, but I'm like, my stuff just looks brighter, and maybe it's the Samsung, but like my stuff just looks brighter and more colorful and more like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's more like posy. It's not like mysterious. I'm not good at taking mysterious photos, and I can come about that honestly. So do with that what you will, because like my best friend Haley, she's great at doing that mystery vibe. Her Instagram is so aesthetic, and I'm like, and you're not really trying to be a model or an influencer, and that's really fierce. She could do it if she wanted to too. That's what's kind of annoying. But so think about this. What is the reason why you're not living to your fullest or your most like true, authentic self? Because for me, it is going to be some of those things. It's going to be family related as well, just because like, and some of those things, like I can't fault people for that, because like I understand you, but it does get to a point when I'm like, for example, for me, you are an adult, and if you're not, like, within reason, I don't want to be like rounding up the rebels and like doing this, but it's true. I'm just here to tell you that it's like, it's worth the risk sometimes, risk of embarrassment, risk of shame, just to feel those good moments and to feel like yourself. You know what I mean? It's really worth it. It really, really is. It's the same as like when you feel like you're doing a job that really is your purpose in life, or that you're happy doing and it's also your job, and you're like, it's such a good feeling to have, even though you're not going to love that job every single day and you're not going to love everything about it, but getting to do something that you appreciate and be your job and all that, it's a good feeling. It feels great to be yourself. It really does. I mean, you obviously have to learn to love yourself to enjoy that, but it's all part of the process. And how can you learn to love yourself if you're not being yourself, right? You have to find out who that is. Be natural, be yourself, like be yourself, and then learn to love that person. Because like, I feel so cool and so in love whenever I'm just able to be myself. And I've talked about this part specifically on here before, on a way back episode, about how, it was an episode about confidence. I think it's one of my first few. Is a big part of that is surrounding yourself with people who are going to boost you up. And I also think in this scenario, surround yourself with people who aren't going to shit on you for being yourself. And whether that's like literally the way you wear your hair, like they're not going to be rude, they're not going to push you down, they're not going to put you down to put themselves like higher. Because I hate when I see people who are like friends with air quotes and they are just like beating each other up verbally. It's so, and like putting each other down, it's so annoying to me. Because I'm like, and you call yourself friends. It's so annoying. That's why I don't surround myself with people like that. And I'm very fortunate to have the friends that I do have, especially to have the brother that I do have. Brothers, both of them are great. Both of them are good friends and supportive. Find supportive people. Okay, let me move on. So another part, this is like a leg out of that. And I don't want to go on about it too long, but there was a photo, and I'm going to insert it here because I'll try to find it, but it resonated with me, and I remember reposting it to my story way back when, but it said, I think it was addressed to parents in general, but it was like, don't be your child's first bully. I believe that's what it said. And this creator, I saw it, who posted it on Instagram, and this was maybe like a year ago. They didn't post it. They were not like the originators of this photo, I don't think. Basically, it's parents standing behind their kid, and the kid has wings, and the dad has like a big pair of scissors, and he's clipping them. And like the kid can't see, he's like walking. And I saw an original photo of this, and the wings are just white. And whoever reposted this, what's his name? I'll include it in the photo so he'll get credit for this. I think his name's Matt, and he does a lot of political things, but the wings were, one of them was like rainbow and something, and maybe the other one was like trans flag or something like that. But they're clipping them because he was putting that in the context of having a child who is LGBTQ, whatever. So I don't mean to say whatever like that, but that's the context he was using it in. And I do agree with everything he said in that post, but there's like, that's such a broader concept about don't be your kid's first bully, because there's so many things that like, it's, in the sense he was using it in was basically like the classic saying of, if you're not ready to have a kid and can't love a kid and be comfortable with your child being queer, then why would you have a child at all? And the same thing goes for something that's like, I guess something that could be considered less serious would be like, if you wouldn't be happy if your kid played football, why would you have a kid? And like, if you have a kid who's like the biggest nerd for Pokemon or for Britney Spears or for Drag Race, like there's so many things. Why were those the first things? I think I looked in my room and I see a little Britney Spears thing, and then I see a Drag Race, whatever. That's what that was. But biggest K-pop fan ever. Like, if you're not going to be comfortable with that, and these are things that could be seen as silly, but it's like, ultimately, don't have a kid. Your kid can be interested in anything, and obviously they're going to take huge influence from you, but it's also like they're gonna find their own interest, and like, why would you bully them for that? Why would you put them down for that? And I think that that happens quite a bit. And it's like, just because they're different from you and you don't understand them, you know what? Maybe they don't understand you. Maybe they don't understand what you're into and why you're into it. It's like, because there's definitely things that like me and my parents agree on for sure. And there's things like sports, for example. We weren't a sports watching family really. So like, if it wasn't like, I know people though who have parents who were into sports and they're like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And like, I didn't experience that just because they didn't watch sports and they were always kind of like, meh. But what I don't know is if I was raised in a household who loved sports and watched it all the time, if I would have felt differently about it. But I just can't imagine that. I can't see myself watching sports, but we are going to get to sports in a second because I'm going to talk about the Olympics after this break. So the Olympics. I asked my followers if they had to play an Olympic sport, what it would be, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But first of all, I've been watching the Olympics, just a little bit, and I do enjoy it. Sometimes I'm like, I kind of hope it's not on the TV or else I'm going to get sucked in because I will be there the whole time and I will try to watch every group, but I just get, roped in. So I think my favorite thing that I've seen so far of this Winter Olympics was the couple skate. I don't know what it's called. If it's the free skate, it's not the ice dancing, it's the couples free skate, I believe. And the Japanese team was like absolutely amazing. I didn't watch the first time they did it. Supposedly they had like a mess up, but when I watched them do it, there was not a single mess up. And honestly, like, I haven't seen many routines that didn't have like a little trip or something or a fall. And so, or like a missed trick, but they actually killed that. They killed it so hard, and they immediately went to first, and the gap in the scores was sickening. So shout out to that Japanese couple. I didn't stay to watch the whole program, but I assume that no one passed them because it was perfect. It's such a difficult routine that, like, yeah, they cooked there. I also have kind of enjoyed, I don't want to say enjoyed because I do feel a little bit bad about it, but the kind of like tea with Ilya, because not Ilya from Heated Rivalry, we already talked about him, we love him, but Ilya, I forget his last name, is like Malinin or something like that. Anyways, he is really amazing. I mean, the things he's doing is crazy. He's really amazing, but they hyped him up too much. They hyped him up too much, and like, I hope that it doesn't affect his like attitude and mental health too much, because the things that they do to these athletes is crazy, and the amount of like commercials they do, they set them up to be on this like high pedestal and bar, and it's like, they're just humans. Like, yes, they're athletes who can do such amazing things, but like, they're humans. And I feel like that's very closely related to another like topic that I've talked about a lot, which is K-pop idols. Like, people put them on such a high pedestal, and it's not good for them mentally. At least I feel like in K-pop, it's not right, but it's more like they kind of know, the idols often know what they are training for, and like, that's kind of part of it. It's almost like, what do they call it? PR training. Like, it's basically like they are trained to know how to deal with that. And yes, it still takes it too far oftentimes, but with these athletes, like, these are people who trained to be athletes, and yes, like, they get to that Olympic level, but it's not always like, it's not all of their goal immediately to do that sport, to go to the Olympics. You know what I mean? Maybe it is later on, but these, like, I don't think that a lot of these athletes are often ready for how it might go. Also, like, it could also just be after your first round, like for any sport. For example, figure skating, people don't know you too well. This is your first Olympics, you're kind of a rookie, and after your first performance, it's amazing. The internet blows up, the world blows up, everyone's talking about it, but then it's like, you were not trained for that. You weren't prepared for that. It's like overnight sensations or like overnight stars. There's no PR training there. I don't know what that looks like for Olympic athletes. I'm sure there's something, and like a lot of Olympic athletes have sponsors and things like that, but I don't know. He's also so young, Ilya, for example. But now let's talk about if I had to do a sport. It's funny, I asked my followers this and I don't have an answer myself. And I said it could be winter or summer. I don't know. Like, I would love to say that I could do gymnastics, but I can't. It is maybe one of my favorites. I also love figure skating, and I can't do that either. I've never actually gone ice skating before, and I can barely roller skate. So, like, I don't think there's much hope for me. Excuse me. I really don't know what sport I would do. Because I'm sure there's a lot of sports I don't know. And I used to say that if I had to play a sport, it'd probably be badminton, and I think they have that in the Olympics, but I would not be good at it. I do think that it's a pretty good option for me, though. However, they're really good, okay? So, if not that, you know what looks fun? The bobsled and like the mono bob. That looks fun. I watched this girl do it the other day, and I was like, that looks really fun. Because skiing, I don't have a chance. I do not have a chance in skiing. Okay, let's get into this. So, yes, I asked on my Instagrams, at Leckiju and at Leckiju.kpop, that I asked them what Olympic sport they would do. So, our first answer says figure skating, even though I can't skate for the life of me. Yeah. See, in theory, I would like to say figure skating, but I just can't skate. And even if I could, I know that there's, like, I wouldn't even be close to be able to, I couldn't jump and land. I'm like balanced when it comes to dance and ballet, but in regular life and everything else, I have zero balance. Okay, moving on. Next one says Olympic breakdancing. Okay, and I actually forgot that was a thing until I saw this response, but Olympic breakdancing, I didn't watch any of it, so I can't say. Wait, don't they have, I just remember they have like archery. And is archery one of them? They have like shooting nowadays. I'm not saying that that's what I should do, because I probably couldn't. But breakdancing is going to be a no for me. Curling, less likely to get hurt. That's not a bad idea. I forgot about curling also. I don't really understand it. I know that like they push the thing and they brush the... I don't know. I did actually see that someone cheated who was playing for Canada. That was kind of like tea. One of my Canadian friends reposted that. So they cheated and like pushed the thing extra far. Now my last response says bobsled seems like a fun ride. It does seem like a fun ride. And I honestly don't think I would be that bad at steering it, but I don't know how hard it is. I've never done it, and I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to do that. So, that's actually going to wrap up and be all of my answers. So it's about dinner time also, so I'm about to go eat. If I could encourage you, though, my recap of this episode, the most important things of this is romanticize your life. Romanticize the hell out of it. Do whatever makes you feel like you're in a movie and like you're having fun. And don't be a bully. Don't let other people be your bully, whether that's friends, family, parents, whatever. And please don't forget to follow me. You can actually check out my link tree. It has my Instagrams, my TikTok at Leckiju212, and everything else. So please check me out there, and don't forget to like this video, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel. And this has been the Leckiju Lounge. Bye-bye.